Congressman James Comer of Kentucky, ranking member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee. Thank you for joining us on the Capitol Report.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, Congressman, I want to ask you about a letter that you wrote to the Director of National Intelligence. You said in the letter that the review they conducted regarding the evidence related to the origins of the Wuhan coronavirus has only caused more confusion. Can you tell us what you meant by that?
Well, I think that more and more evidence is coming out to prove that this virus was manufactured in the Wuhan lab. But the Biden administration intelligence community, the Biden administration healthcare community, they're all trying to punt on this and say, well, we can't find any information, let's move on, any evidence, let's move on. And you're seeing more and more medical journals come out and amend their earlier statements where they said that this came from animal to human. Now they're covering their tracks, saying this very likely could have been engineered in a lab. So it's just very disappointing to see the Biden administration not want to determine the origination of COVID. They're not pressing China. They're not trying to hold China accountable for covering up early evidence with respect to their initial gene sequences with regards to the work they were doing at the Wuhan lab. So we're not satisfied with this, the Republicans on the committee, and we're going to continue to press forward and demand that the Biden administration try to get some more information out of China.
Now, you've requested all raw intelligence that was used to reach their conclusions. What do you think that story might be able to tell or not tell, for that matter?
Well, my concern is they didn't lift a finger to try to find out any information. The longer we wait, the more China can cover up. China's military already went in there early on and covered up a lot of information. That we do know. That is common knowledge. But with respect to what was going on, the purpose, the emails that have come out recently with respect to the lab was wanting to inoculate some bats in the cave to try to prevent a COVID outbreak, whatever was going on in there, it was no good. It was unethical. There shouldn't have been any tax dollars from the United States going to fund that. Unfortunately, we've proven that there were. I believe Dr. Fauci knows a lot more about what was going on in there than he would like to imply when he stands before the mainstream media and continues to deflect on the origination of COVID. So we would just like to see exactly what information the intelligence community requested from China. Who exactly did they talk to in China? Obviously, communist China is going to say, no, it didn't come from us, it came from a bat. Although we haven't been able to prove that. It certainly didn't come from the Wuhan lab. Well, then the next question would be, what exactly were you doing in that lab? And if the intelligence community didn't even ask those questions, then that's going to be pretty disappointing. But that's my fear, that Joe Biden and his friends in the deep state just said, let's just turn a blind eye on this and let's focus on something else.
Yes, that's a great point. Dr. Fauci has been on the record vouching for Chinese scientists, his counterparts in China, for their credibility. And, it's quite common that the CCP turns ordinary citizens into de facto spies, let alone the scientists at the National Institute of Virology. At the very least, they're surely towing the party line. Now, I want to ask you, how committed is Congress to keeping the pressure on China and not returning to business as usual when it comes to the CCP, both literally and figuratively?
Well, the Democrats have proven no interest in that whatsoever. They don't want to hold China accountable for anything, whether it's the origination of COVID or manipulation of their currency or human rights abuses or slave labor with respect to trade, or even hold them accountable to the climate change proposal that John Kerry's wanting the United States to dramatically alter their manufacturing practices here in the United States. But I can tell you the Republicans are committed to this. We're fed up with China. We're fed up with all the mischief that's taking place in China. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have died. We've had a disrupted economy for nearly 2 years now because of shenanigans they were pulling in this Wuhan lab. And the fact that the Democrats won't have a single hearing on the origination of COVID or any wrongdoing with China is very troubling. The fact that Joe Biden's intelligence community spent almost 4 months supposedly looking into this and said, oh, we couldn't find a thing. That's not acceptable. So the Republicans are going to keep pressing on this. Hopefully there will be a day soon when we flip the House, get rid of Nancy Pelosi, and get serious about government oversight.